presidents, and I think they've done an absolutely phenomenal job in actually arranging this event so we can actually get together on a Friday, you know, and actually share, you know, such an amazing opportunity with each and every single person in this room. So can we just recognize them and give them all a round of applause, Mr. Bilal? Okay guys, so I mean a bit of background about myself. My name is AHMED MUKHTAR. I'm 25 years old. You know, I actually got involved in ACN 11th of June 2013, and when I actually came and I saw the presentation for the first time, I was like every single person in this room. You know, I wasn't born into ACN. You know, most people, you know, I mean, and this is actually the crazy thing. When most people see a successful person, they only focus on the success. Now, who agrees with that, right? Yes, now, and I was speaking to some of the leaders before this training actually started, and some of the, so like, well, there's one person I always love to point out, and that's a gentleman by the name of Floyd Mayweather. Now, for those who know Floyd Mayweather, he's actually a professional boxer, and he's currently, you know, he defines boxing for me right now, because this gentleman actually revenues 133 million per fight. But the thing that we fail to understand is we see the success, but little do we know he has been doing that for 17 years. Now think about this for a second. 17 years he has been getting up every single morning, going to a gym and training. Now, how many of us has pursued, you know, to get a nice body in a gym before? Just by a show of hands, how many? Because I know most of us have. But what happens, you know, 2 months down the line, you're no longer that motivated to go to the gym. And the crazy thing is, you're paying for a gym membership for like 12 months, but your body still looks the same. Because I'll tell you why, because most of us, one thing that everyone finds, to keep pursuing is something which is called persistence. You know, persistence. I always say, look, in this business, it really doesn't matter about, you know, if you have quick success or not. As long as you stay focused long enough, as long as you stay persistent long enough, you will eventually be where you want to be in ACN. And you know, and one example I love to use is actually a gentleman who's become a very close friend of mine, and he's in the Netherlands, and that's a regional vice president, Circle of Champions member by the name of Asos Harsen. Now, Asos Harsen, for those of you who know him, it took him 9 years to become a regional vice president, 3 years to become an executive team trainer. Now, most people, we have bonuses, you know, saying, you know, if you become an ETT within 30 days and get 10 services, you make £400. Now, imagine they said to Asos Harsen, if you become an ETT within 2 years and a half, you will give it £400. He still would not have made that bonus. Think about it. But just through his persistence, today he's a Circle of Champions member. And in fact, he's one of the most profound regional vice presidents in our company. And I love to use this example. So I always say this, you know, an analogy I love to use is, you know, Hawaii. Now, how many of us know where Hawaii is? Right? And how many of you agree with me? When I say Hawaii, the first thing you think about is a blue ocean and palm trees, yes or no? Yes. Right? This is what we imagine when we focus on Hawaii. Now think about this for a second. Now I want you to imagine you take a plane and you go to Hawaii. Now when you go to Hawaii and you get off that plane, the minute you get off that plane, it starts thundering. It starts storming. You know, the palm trees are blowing, you're looking outside your hotel room, you're looking outside and, you know, the hailstones are literally about to break your hotel room's window. And you're like, man, Hawaii? Think about this for a second. Now, you get back onto the plane, and the minute you step on back to the plane, there's someone else that comes off a plane. And the minute that person comes off that plane, it is sunny. You know, the rainstorms disappear, it is sunny, it is hot, that person's got his sunglasses, wearing shorts, vest, and they go to their hotel room and everything's absolutely perfect, the same way we've imagined just now. Now think about this for a second. Now let's go to person A. When you go to person A, will you agree with me? You say, how was Hawaii? Do not go there. It is completely terrible. My advice, do not go Hawaii. But then you ask person B is going to say, listen, Hawaii is an incredible place and I strongly recommend you go if you want to go get suntan. Now think about this for a second. How can we base, you know, how can we judge ACN by our current experience now? Because the reality is ACN is like Hawaii. Because think about this for a second, because we know people, and I always say, if a system has proven to produce one wealthy person, that system works, yes or no? Yes. You know, think about this. I want you to imagine one thing. Now I want you to write down every single person from the day you were born up until now, every single person that has motivated you, every single person that has taught you something, every single person that has helped you become the person you have become. And I want you to write down every single person that fit those characteristics that are wealthy. I want you to write down how many people do you know, your teachers, your mentors, your parents, your neighbors, how many of them are wealthy? Write down on a piece of paper. I'll give you 30 seconds. So right now. Now, that's 30 seconds on. Now, how many people have brought more than 3 names? Just raise your hands. You see the problem? This is the problem. You know, the problem is, you know, we've been seeking advice all our lives on people who are not wealthy. You know, people who are not where they want to be financially. Now think about this for a second. University proved one thing to me. You know, university proved one thing, because when I studied university, there was no subject called Millionaire 101. Now imagine there was a subject called Millionaire 101. Donald Trump is going to be the lecturer. You know, you just have to plug into the system, and Donald Trump will teach you how to be wealthy. How many of us would have been in the front of the class 6:30 every morning? I would have been, right? But then the problem is, those our teachers, our mentors, you know, our lecturers, our neighbors, our parents, they were not wealthy. So therefore, they couldn't, you know, teach us how to be wealthy. And you know, AHMED give us all the characteristics that one needs to be wealthy. And I'm going to share these characteristics with you. Now, I want you to think about one thing. I'm going to share 3 things with you that every wealthy person has in common. Any billionaire, let's start from the billionaire point, Mark. Any billionaire that you can think about has 3 things in common. Number 1 is this. Number 1 is every billionaire makes money 24 hours a day. They don't make money 9 to 5. They don't make money 9 to 6. They make money 24 hours a day. Number 2. The second thing is they have leverage. You know what is leverage? When you have time and money combined. When you get paid on other people's efforts. Think about this, you know, when Ejlal was telling me on a Forbes magazine, Michael Jackson made 140 million, I'm like, he ain't even here. But the reason why he's made that type of income is because he's still getting paid on something he's done years ago. He's getting paid on other people distributing his business. You know, think about this for a second, you know John Paul Getty, he's one of the first documented billionaires today. You know, he said, I'd rather get paid on 1% of other people's efforts than get paid on 100% of my own. And this is leverage, you know, distribution. And the third thing is they own the equity. Now think about this for a second. Wherever you're working now, I want you to imagine where you're working. Now let's just use phones for you as a hypothetical example. Now phones for you, we witnessed 4 weeks ago, 3 to 4 weeks ago, more than 5,600 jobs were lost. More than 5,600 jobs were made redundant. Now will you agree with me, those people, no matter how long they were in the business, who agrees with me, the minute they lost their jobs, no one said, oh, let me just go grab a few iPhone 6s, right? Let me just take a few Samsung Galaxies with me. Will you agree with me, they didn't take anything with them. Because why? They didn't own the equity. It's as simple as that. And these are the 3 traits that every single wealthy person has. And if you study the genealogies of wealthy people, you know, you would be able to see that they practice these traits. You know, and in AHMED gives us everything that you and I both need to be wealthy. You know, now think about this for a second. You can build a business, it doesn't matter what you're currently doing. Because, I mean, one thing I love about this business is the long-term residual income. So think about this, you can just build a distribution. It's the same way, you know, Facebook, for example, right? Facebook, what surprised me was when I was reading about the background of Facebook, there were 10 people that were invited to the business opportunity meeting. And the business opportunity meeting was being held in a university dorm room by Mark Zuckerberg. Now what Mark Zuckerberg did was he invited 10 of his most friends and family, you know, his good friends and family. And they came around to his dorm room and you know, Facebook was presented and he said, listen, how about we create an internal portal where we can communicate amongst each other? Some of them said, no, you know, you're crazy, you know, they left. And 3 people remained in the room to hear him out. Now think about this, those 3 people today, they are on the Forbes magazines, they are one of the wealthiest people on this planet. Because I'll tell you why. Facebook today, there are more than 1.4 billion users around the world in Facebook. Facebook today is in more than 200 countries. You know, just to advertise on Facebook a year is more than like £200,000. Think about this. How have they done this? Through distribution, through a network. You know, and imagine Mark Zuckerberg when he was building the business, you know, he first started off with 3 people. The 3 people, then they introduced it to the Harvard University, then Harvard University introduced it to other universities, then to the state, to the country, then today them to more than 200 more than 1.4 billion people around the world. Now let's make a campaign, guys. Let's all get together, 70, 80 of us in a room. Let's start a campaign right now, and let's all deactivate our Facebook accounts. Do you think Facebook are going to send us a letter of condolences and say, I'm so sorry you're leaving us? No. Do you think they care? Because why? That minute you're leaving, there's more than 80 people joining that very same minute. Because why? They have laid the foundation. They have built their distribution. Now imagine where you're going to be in the next 5 years' time, when there's probably about 80, 90 people a day joining your business. And all those 90 people, what are they going to do? They're going to go out there and get customers. And you get your residual income increases month after month, year after year. I don't know about you, but for me, as long as I can build a residual empire, I'm in ACN. And this is one thing that ACN allows you to do. So even if it takes you 5 years, imagine in 5 years, you just build a distribution, let's just say 1,000 people. But those 1,000 people, they just get 10 services. That's 10,000 services. Now let's say 2 years after that, those 1,000 people introduce another 10 people into the business. 2 years down the line, that's 10,000 people into your business. Now if there's 10,000 people into your business, and all those 10,000 just get 10 services each, that's more than 100,000 services. Now let's just say 2 years down the line, those 10,000 people get another 10 people into this business. That's more than 100,000 representatives. Now if 100,000 representatives get 10 services each, that's more than 1 million customers. Now imagine getting paid on 1 million customers in 10 years. Just in 10 years, 1 million customers, month after month, year after year, residually for the rest of your life. Where can you be? Great. And this is the main thing that excites me about ACN. I know ACN, we don't want to do this. Usain Bolt, we want to do this, right? Mo Farah, because why do we want to do that? Because we know this is a marathon. We know even if it takes us 2-3 years, we stay ETT for 5 years, it really doesn't matter. As long as we stay committed long enough, eventually we can build an organization, yes or no? Yes. Now, this is what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share with you a bit about mindset, the type of mindset that you need for this business, but I'm going to also speak from it. Normally when I do this for a general session, I speak up, I present it in terms of as if I'm speaking to new representatives. But I'm going to speak from every single slide that I'm going to cover. I'm going to speak from it from a leadership perspective. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes, yes.
So I'm going to show you some of the tricks that I practice on a day-to-day basis, just to make you understand some of the fundamentals of success. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with is, you have to have a why. Now, the main thing for me about ACN is, honestly, up until now, I still have my why. And this is the crazy thing, because this is the main thing. It's easy to become wealthy and forget about your why. Forget about what is the reason why you initially started. And this is what happens with most people. You see some, you see, for example, an executive team leader will come into the business, they'll make a team cap of 5,600 one month, and they forget about their why. They start focusing on the money. And this is one of the biggest problems one can have, is when they start focusing on the income more than the business. When they start focusing on the income more than their people. So the first thing you have to do is always remember your why. It doesn't matter even if you're a regional vice president, remember why you started this business. That will excite you more. It really does, because every single time, every morning when I wake up, will you guys believe, and I know most people will find it hard to believe, I work harder now as an RVP than I did when I was an executive team trainer. Most people find it hard to believe, they're like, no, but you're real RVP. I literally work harder now because I know one thing, it has never been this good. It has never been this good. I'm telling you, ACN right now in the UK, guys, I'm telling you, I know right now, I can just put the teams, I can add 2 and 2 together, and I can clearly say there are not more than 50,000 representatives in the UK. Zia, am I wrong to say that? And I know this for sure, because I know probably half of it is Jamal's team. And if half of it is Jamal's team, let's just add all the other teams. I know for a fact there's not more than 50,000 people. And this is the test for every single person. Whenever someone says to me, Ahmed, I've spoken to ACN about everyone I know, and I run out of contacts, I always say, listen, you haven't run out of contacts, you've only run out of belief. If there are 50,000 people into ACN today, and there's more than 68 million people in the UK, and they say in London there's 9 million, but in reality, I really believe there's 11 million. Right? Because there's 2 million, I know they're hiding somewhere, right? So there are 11 million people. Right? Yes or no? So if there are are 11 million people just in London. Honestly, this is what I'm really excited about. Just 11 million people in London, and there are 68 million people in the UK, and there are only 50,000 reps. You know what this is like? Guys, this is like, when it starts snowing and you open the door, and how does it feel when you're the first one to wake up on your street and the snow is fresh? I don't know about you, but that is the best feeling. You come outside and you do that, and then you walk again, and you're the first one to walk, and then you look back and go, wow, that looks incredible, right? This is exactly how it's like. Literally, the field is not even being harvested. It's so fresh right now in the UK, and it's never been this good, guys. Think about this for a second. How can you run out of people? The only thing you can run out of is belief. Because I'll tell you why. The market in ASEAN, guys, I see many people saying, oh, you know what, this market is done, this market is done. The market is literally, and I'm going to use this word, it is virgin. Because I tell you why. Look, I'm going to tell you this from right now. Right now, ASEAN has never been this good. Because every single day, there is at least hundreds and hundreds of people who turn the age of 18.
Yes.
Who couldn't be ASEAN yesterday. So how can the market ever be touched? Every day someone's turning 18. But whenever I see someone 18, I'm like, congratulations. Happy birthday. Right? Because I know what this can do for us. And this is what I'm so excited about. So the main thing you have to focus on is, what is your reason of doing ASEAN? What caused you to become excited in the first place? Right now, the first thing I think about my mum's lifestyle now, because I became regional vice president. I managed to provide for her many of the things I've always wanted to provide for her. But I know if I stopped working and I just leave it and I start focusing on things that I don't need to focus on, eventually my mum's gonna say, hey, listen, you're changing. You're not as excited as you was when you first started this business. The money is starting to get the better of you. So always remember your why. It can be anything. Say most people I know that one of the main reasons why they start is their their financial situation. So whenever you're making good income, think about how you were when you first started. Think about that time when you couldn't feed your kids, or think about that time when you didn't know where your next meal was coming from. I promise you that will motivate you to even work harder.
Yes.
So remember your why. If this was a general session, I'll be telling them, write down your why. But as a leaders, remember your why. Now the second thing that you want to do is, build a massive confidence. Now ladies and gents, because we're leaders in a room, and I don't currently have my contact list with me, but I keep my contact list with me in my phone. So phone. I don't know if you can see, but I have an iPhone. Guys, I've got an iPhone 6 by the way as well, yeah? Okay, I know this. Okay. But if I just type in, look, I'm just going to show you right now. If I just type in contacts, right there, ASEAN contacts. All these people are people that I haven't even invited to the business yet. Look at this. You can keep going. You can keep going. You can keep going. And I add to my list every day. I recruit everywhere I go. I'm gonna share a story with you. Before I went to Munich, I went to a suit shop and bought some suits, and the guy who was, tailoring me and, helping me pick out my suit, he said to me, what is it that you do? Because I promise you one thing, right now, because of ASEAN, the lifestyle it's allowed me to live is, a lifestyle where you don't have to worry about money. You buy something because you like it. You don't buy something and look at the price tag. This is honestly, and this is the most, honestly, one of the best feelings. Because I remember before, and I know I can relate with every single person. Before, whenever I go to a fancy restaurant, I would check my online banking balance. When I leave, I'll check. Oh man, I've got to cut down expenditure for the rest of the month, right? I used to live like this, and I know this. But right now, it's a freedom where if you like something, you buy it. And I promised myself one thing because of ASEAN. I will never leave something because of the price. In fact, I don't even look at the price until I get to the till. You walk into Prada, you like a shoe, you get it. It doesn't matter what it costs. So when I go, I don't look at the price. And so this gentleman asked me, what is it that you do? Now normally I create curiosity and I don't tell them what I do. But because I was in a rush and I really couldn't be bothered to recruit anyone, I said, you know what, I'm into network marketing. Then he said to me, network marketing, so that means you can recruit me. And I said, well, yeah. And then he said, okay, listen, I don't know what you do, but whatever you do, I really, really want to dream. I'm tired of this. And I said, okay, no problem. This is my business card. We exchanged numbers. I said, well, I'm flying out to Munich tomorrow, but once I'm back, let's get in contact. Now, guess what? I literally came to that person to do a one-on-one PBR. Do you know what? Do you know what he said to me as soon as I sat down? He said, "Don't even present." He said, "Just show me how I need to get started and show me how I can become like you." And I said, "No problem." So we got him started. Now we got him started, and now we're so good. We're very close. We're very close. And once I asked him about his experience, guess who he is? He was the director for Phones for You. Wow. And it closed down 4 weeks ago. And he's currently in my business. And then when I asked this guy many questions, he was the director of Aldo. He used to work as a commercial manager for Harrods. He used to work in Selfridges as a manager. And he's someone with such a great background and such a great network. Because I tell you what, I recruit everywhere I go. And I literally mean it. I never, ever, come to my car right now, I've got Success from Home magazines in my boot. Everywhere I go, I pique interest everywhere I go. And this is how I do it. Everywhere I go, the first thing I say to someone is, I just start a conversation with them. "Hey, good morning, sir, how you doing?" Right, the lady who's serving me, "How you doing, madam, you alright?" The first thing I say is this, and this is how I start off my thing. And this is what I learned this from Eric Wall, GoPro. Eric Wall, guys, whoever does not listen to Eric Wall, you have no idea what you're missing. And this is one thing he taught me. He's one of my mentors, and one thing I learned from him is, one thing I always say is, "That's a very nice accent you have. Where are you from?" I always start like this. "That's a very nice accent you have. That's a very nice accent. Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Liverpool." "Oh, wow, Liverpool." It's funny you say that because I'm actually expanding my business in Liverpool. And in fact, I'm looking for a few business-minded individuals to help me be part of the expansion and make some money along the way. But what is it that you do? In fact, I'm late for a meeting right now, but if I leave you one of my business cards, if we can exchange numbers, we can get in contact later on. And I can show you the official business material. Okay, no problem, so let's exchange numbers. When I go home, I text them. "Hey, listen, about the expansion, if we can get together so I can show you everything about the business." "No problem. Come down." And then that's how we start the conversation. This is how we keep the ball rolling. Everywhere I go. If someone is English, I say, "Hey, that's a very nice tie you have." "Where is it from?" "It's from Aldo." "Oh, wow. Now what area are you originally from London?" "I'm from East London." "Wow, is it funny you say that because I'm actually expanding my business in East London at the moment." Same thing. So guys, you have to be the best recruiter. You have to understand, most people tell me, "I'm finding it hard to get people because my team's finding it hard to get people," because I tell you why. You're not the best recruiter in your team. In your team, you have to be the best recruiter. It's as simple as that. Honestly, when our team, when they see me come to a BOM and I'm bringing 3 people with me, they're like, "Man, the RVP's in phase 1. He's bringing 3 people, so we have to bring 5 people." I always come to someone with a guest. And I introduce them to everyone. I'm like, "Hey, this guy, I've just met him. I met him in a suit shop. He's the director of Phones for You. Guys, help me introduce you. This is Steve." I introduce him to everyone. I introduce him to all the leaders. Because I'll tell you why I introduce him to the leaders. Because then the leaders will pass on the message and say, "Wow, that's Ahmed's guests." And if they say that's Ahmed's guests, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to go recruit some people. They're going to do the same thing to their team. And if we have 5 people, every single person brings 5 people to a BOM, I promise you one thing, people can't even get through the door. We have events, like more than 10, 20 BOMs happening in a week, and every single one of them, I'm not talking about this, I'm talking about 500 plus seats. Completely packed out. Sunday we have 2 mega events with more than 500 plus people in both places. Why? Just by making sure everyone's in phase 1. So you have to be the best recruiter, guys. For those who say, "I've run out of people," you've got to keep going. You've got to start cold recruiting. So build a massive list. Add to your list every day. Jog your memory. Go on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, however you know. And one place I love to recruit, a lot of people don't think about this. Think about your mum and dad. Go to your parents. Even if your parents are not in this country, call them up and say, "Mum and Dad, do you know anyone in London? Yeah, do you know anyone that has kids probably my age? Do you know anyone in London who's business-minded? Yes, I know a guy in that sector. Can you give me his number, Mum? I want to contact him regarding something." I said to my dad, "Dad, what I want you to do, I want you to bring all your friends to the house. And what I want all of them to do is, I want them all to also bring 2 of their kids with them." And we did a home presentation. You know how many people signed up just by that home presentation? 24 people. Guess who through? Through my father. you have to start thinking outside the box. You know, if you don't know someone, your parents might know someone, your aunties, your uncle, your neighbors, you know, people that you sit with every day at work. You know, so, you know, most people say to me, no, they won't be interested in ACN. But as a professional network marketer, Eric Ward teaches us one thing. As a professional network marketer, you will understand one thing. Every single person is either a leader or they're either or doorway. It's as simple as they're either or doorway. So we have to understand this. So whenever someone says, you know, that person doesn't like to do ACN, that's perfect, they don't like to do ACN. But can I have a conversation with them? And my whole philosophy, I go to that person just to say, I know you don't like ACN, and I know you say it's not for you, and you're really busy into what you do. But do you know someone who's just business-minded? Forget ACN. I'm not even going to present ACN to them. Do you know someone who's business-minded? Can I just meet with this person? I won't even speak about ACN. Let me just meet with them. I come and I meet with them. You know what I present? ACN. So it's very, very important, guys. We have to be the best recruiter. Now, after that, you know, you're going to come across many people. You know, we're going to come across many, many different people. People who are not going to listen. People who are going to sit there. People who are not going to listen to us. And, you know, people are going to come to our meetings and say, this is just abnormal. You know, in fact, I was speaking to some of the leaders in the room earlier on. You know, and one thing I can tell you guys is one thing. Don't ever let someone come into your business opportunity meeting and tell you something about your meeting. You know, and I see this is many of the holes that many leaders fall into. They say the BOM is not professional enough. Guys, let me tell you something. There is no such a thing as the perfect BOM. If someone thinks there's a perfect BOM in the world in ACN, there's no such a thing. We have to understand this. Because why? We are all humans. Does humans make errors, yes or no? Yes. A car's a machine. Now, will you agree with me? Before a car is produced, they test drive it. You know, they put many things. They make it go through many, machinery, many hurdles before they actually release the car. And even a car has errors. Now, how many times are you driving, right? You're driving and the service light comes up. It's an error. So how can we expect humans to be perfect? So don't let anyone come into your meetings and say, there's too much old people here. There's too much young people here. You know, there's too much this, there's too much that. Let me tell you something. When I started building this business, my first BOM, everyone was much older than me. I couldn't, honestly, I really couldn't relate to anyone. But one thing I focused on the information. And you know, when I focused on the information, I said, this is crazy. This is the first thing I said, this is crazy. This is why people are wealthy and people are broke. It's the first thing I said. So this is the main thing. Don't use any excuses. Because it ACN's an excuses business. You're going to come through these people, but eventually you're going to find those people that want to do the business as much as you. You know, after building this business, many people see Regional Vice President Ayub El-Amwani, 21 years. Today he's an inspiration to many. But little do they know last year, June, how he was. Honestly, little do people know. This guy, he couldn't say a single word without saying, yeah, man. Literally, he couldn't say a sentence without saying, Ahmed, bro. Ahmed, man. This is crazy, man. And today he's an inspiration to many. Because why? He developed with the business. Guys, let me tell you, everything grows. Plants grow. You know, plants grow. As humans, we have to grow. The earth grows, we have to grow. We have to grow as people. And eventually you're going to come across many people, but eventually you're going to find people that want to do the business as much as you. People that Mr. Simon Abu refers to as the aces. Those people that you're going to travel together, build the business together. They're going to be friends of the future and not friends of the past. And they are going to be much better than your old friends. I promise you that much. You know, it's crazy because, you know, 2 weeks ago I met up with some of my old friends and we sat down on a restaurant table, and the last time this happened was crazy because we sat down on a restaurant table and the bill came and everyone started looking at each other. You know, everyone started putting £5 on the table and £10 on the table, and I'm thinking in my head, this is not right. You know, when we got as ACN, the bill comes, one person says, don't worry, there's my card. There you go. And I'm thinking in my back of my head, wow, this is crazy. You know, I was like this last year. You know, and then listen, you meet people that you travel the world with, people that you build a business. And for me, it did take me time. You know, people need time. It did take me time. But eventually I found those people. And these are these individuals here. You know, this is us right now, you know, in London, in the UK. You know, most people 21 years old, you know, purchasing his own home and retiring as his parents and giving his mum a home of her own. You know, his mum, I mean, you've seen her in the convention, but I knew her before ACN. You know, we literally grew up together. You know, and his mother was disabled, and the house that they were living in was like 2 floors, and she couldn't get up the stairs. Him and his brother, regional director AHMED MUKHTAR, used to carry their mum up every single night. Imagine carrying your mum up every night to take her to her bed. And today she has a home where literally they just put her in a wheelchair, take her to the lift, and there's a lift that takes her directly to her room. That all she does is she just literally gets out the wheelchair and just rolls over and just gets directly into her bed. And this is what they've done because of ACN. So guys, so the key is this. As long as you're willing to go through the no's, you will find your people. You know, and I always tell everyone, whenever someone comes to me and says, Ahmed, I am struggling, I say, listen, you already have your team. You have your team already. But the thing is, you just haven't come across them yet. You have your leaders. Believe me, guys, this is a done deal. Your 4 organizations, those 4 aces, you have them already. And my mentor told me this. He said, you have your 4 people already, but you just haven't come across them yet. Just keep going. You come across them eventually. And now, the mindset that we have to adopt, guys,